You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Get ready. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guy. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. Once again, I'm Big Q, and you listen to the Sports Coma live. That's right, live. Episode 300. Podcast 300, coming at you live with Saints news and items on this fantastic Sunday morning. So happy to talk and have a discussion with some of the greatest Who Dat fans across the hemisphere. Here we go. And in this episode 300, we're going to be talking about Saints news and notes. We got some interviews we're going to play for you. Of course, we have Drew Brees chiming in about the week coming ahead. Of course, Drew don't know who we're going to play. But, you know, these are professionals, so we're going to take it one step at a time. It's going to either be one or two teams. It's going to be either the hated Dallas Cowboys or it's going to be either the Philadelphia Eagles. We have to give them a little something, too. So either way we go, we got some pain to put on somebody either way. Of course, we ain't finished the season out the way most people would anticipate we wanted to finish out. We stumbled, bumbled, fell through the flow. Did some comedic thing with the Carolina Panthers last week, but, you know, some redemption have to be repaid on that. You know, of course, moving ahead, we're going to talk about do we have any concerns pertaining to that in this episode, but once again, welcome aboard to all the fantastic Who Dats, Sports Coma family, established, and also new people, because we constantly get new Who Dats chiming into the show. Welcome aboard. And this is Sports Coma Live 300. That's right, Sports Coma Live episode 300. And we're going to talk about a few topics today. Of course, no game this wild card weekend. Dallas took care of business against Seattle. Kind of figured that would happen. And now we're looking ahead at Philly and Chicago to see who will win there. My anticipation is Chicago should be Philly, but you never know dealing with Nick Foles. This could be one of those situations where they are the defending world champions. They could assume that underdog role, start putting on those hideous dog masks and do something against Chicago. So they do have basically a new quarterback, Trubisky, and running there. So a lot's going to be put on him to win the game. I don't know. Nick Foles and the Eagles are battle tested. They might slip one in on them. Don't be surprised on that one, although I am picking Chicago. But in this episode dealing with the Saints, I'm going to get into that. Who should we get, Dallas or Philly? We'll let you chime in and you tell us who you think we should have or who you want. I know you know who I want. Other news going on with the Saints organization. Of course, when you're a winning organization, you lock up the first seed in the playoffs. And then, you know, people want to start looking at you because this is a weird league in terms of looking for coaches. Now they'll start looking at our staff, and now they're looking at everything from Dan Campbell, who's a tight end coach. Then you're looking at guys like Dennis Allen, who's getting interviews now, and even Steve Carmichael is getting interviewed. But we'll get into that and tell you who wants to look at our coaches. Don't necessarily mean they're going to leave, but people are requesting interviews with them. We'll get into MVP Brees, whether or not he'll get it. Of course, we'll fill you in on the all-pro voting, you know, first team, second team voting. We'll tell you what's going on with that, who getting the potential Pro Bowl nods. We got interviews coming up from Drew Brees, Marshawn Lattimore, Ginn Jr. is going to chime in, and all those guys will give you their take moving ahead, looking into the upcoming season. And, of course, we got other news, the Sports Coma question of the day, which we'll give to you momentarily. Then we're going to read the replies from the previous question of the day. And then in the second segment, open up the phone line so that you can chime in with questions, comments, concerns, whatever you got. We'll open up the phone lines in the second segment so you guys could chime in as well. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. Now, Marcus Davenport in the game against Carolina, he made a play on the quarterback in that game. Now, he tackled him. Kyle Allen was the guy's name, the backup Kyle Allen, who was shredding the Saints defense, secondary anyway. Obviously but Marcus Davenport took down Kyle Allen in the game. Of course, he took him down. No flag was thrown for what he did, but then the NFL came back with a $20,000 fine against Davenport. This is the problem I have with this foolishness. How is the NFL going around looking at plays that are not penalties, that a flag wasn't thrown on the play, and fine the man 20 G's? You find them 20 grand for a play their officials missed. This is the foolishness I'm saying with the NFL. You know, that's stupid. That's stupid. If the guy didn't throw the flag, you cannot find him. You can't proactively retroactively go back and find somebody for a play that the referee didn't throw a flag for. You know, it's stuff like that, stupid garbage stuff like that from the NFL that I despise, that I just like one of those things where I think they'll have competing leagues that'll come into the play, because NFL is full of garbage and a lot of crap that I don't like with them. They got a monopolistic mindset. We the only game in town. You got the players, but they got other leagues coming, especially one in February when all this is said and done. In February, they got a new football league kicking off, and if they do it right, the NFL is going to lose a lot of people to that league, and sooner or later, I'm just saying that's how it happened. Remember, Mark Cuban did say that. They're getting a little too cocky and too big for their bridges. And usually when that happened, it started tumbling down. Anyway, outside of that, the Saints did some other stuff here. We were looking at a couple of the coaches like we made mention of, and Dan Campbell and a few other guys. He was up for a head coaching interview with Dolphins. Now, of course, he was an assistant there at one period of time with the Dolphins. Of course, he has mostly been under Sean Payton, and he's under the tutelage of the Big Tuna. So a lot of those guys have that mindset. Tuna, he did coach there for a little bit out there in Miami. So perhaps Miami and Cleveland and other clubs are looking at making Dan Campbell their potential coach. Now, he does know a lot about the offense, you know, and Dan Campbell's been very good for us here in New Orleans. So, you know, hopefully we can retain him. I won't stop nobody from getting there an opportunity to go somewhere else. But to be honest with you, Dan Campbell's been good. So has our defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen. And, you know, it's like with the New England effect. You know, guys get plucked and pulled all the time into coaching gigs, like the Detroit head coach was pulled from the defensive coordinator, and he went on to other things. So when it comes down to it, we have to look at it and say potentially guys like Pete Carmichael and the rest of these guys could get looks and potentially end up leaving this team for another team. So that does happen. So that's a few of the things happening as far as our head coaches are concerned. Is the fact that a lot of teams are looking at moving on those guys, and I think we have a few other guys there. Aaron Glenn has been spectacular in his post in the secondary. Dennis Allen's really turned around the defense. Sean Payton really took it serious to say, okay, what do we need to do here? I need to stop drafting offensive linemen and wide receivers to help my offense out, and I need to start helping the defense out. And they did that by signing a few of these guys, putting them on the defense like what they did last year, really committing and getting Davenport and plugging him in there, and then re-signing Alex Okafor. So the onus is totally not on Davenport to blow the gates off so he can kind of progress at his own speed. I think that was a brilliant stratagem by the Saints. They executed to perfection. And, of course, Alex Okafor for most of the year was healthy, played a very strong season. Davenport was out for a month or so of the season, a little bit over a month or so of the season when you add it all together. But when it comes down to it, those guys are raring to go back up in this thing. Now, going into some other news dealing with the great Mike Thomas. Now, Mike Thomas became the first Saints wide receiver to be named to first team All-Pro since the NFL-AFL merger. And that was done on last Friday. Now, they had 4 other players that were selected second-team All-Pros: Drew Brees, Cam Jordan, and Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk. Now, Teron Armstead missed a lot of games. We know he's good. I don't know if I know how good Teron is, but to put him up there with the limited action like he's seen, I don't know. I think I probably would have went in a different direction, although he did play really well, when he was there. But I don't know if he to me, missed a lot of time. I can't take nothing away from the man. But we might have had another offensive lineman more deserving of that award, perhaps Max Unger, who played every snap that he was called upon. I wouldn't have been mad if he was there as well. Now, what they're saying is with Drew Brees receiving that second team selection, that means the first team selection is definitely Patrick Mahomes, which means that the same board that votes for this situation votes for the MVP award as well. So it's highly unlikely that if he was receiving votes for second team All Pro, that more than likely Mahomes would get first team Pro, which means that he would probably end up getting the MVP award, which is no skin off my back. If he gets the MVP award, big ups to him. Mahomes threw 50 touchdowns on the year. It's hard to take it away from somebody when they throw 50 touchdowns, and the big guy is basically starting for the first time in NFL. So, man, let the man. I don't care. The big dance is the only award I care. Let Mahomes have the regular season MVP. Let Drew Brees get the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl MVP. I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with that as well. So that's my key concerns. Not concerns, but that's my take on it. Now, let's listen to Drew Brees. Speaking of Drew Brees, let's bring him in now and hear what Drew thinks about the upcoming action coming at you for the divisional round. Here's Drew Brees.
Middle of the season, and there's not necessarily a team to prep for, just kind of working on yourself. Is it unusual for you to not have that, game prep?
Yeah, I mean it's unusual, but it's exciting. I mean, it's the position you want to be in. So different than a bye week during the season where you know who the upcoming opponent's going to be. You still approach that bye week similar to what we're doing now, which is, rest and recovery, first and foremost. That's the benefit of the bye week, right? And you get to basically leapfrog the first round, of games and go right to the second round, and you get to host it, So all those are good things. We're really just focused on ourselves right now. So getting guys rested, getting guys recovered, focusing on some details, a chance to self-scout a little bit, take a look at some snaps from the season and see the areas that we really want to improve upon this week as we approach our next game.
How much is gained from that introspection at this time of the year?
It's good. It's good. Just because you're so focused week to week during the season that you really don't have time to go back and self-evaluate too much. You're just, it's on to the next opponent. You start grinding on that film and putting together a game plan, and this gives you a chance to really take a step back, take a good hard look at yourself and say, wow, I thought that was much better than it is. Obviously, we need to make some improvements, and then maybe there's some other stuff where, wow, this has been pretty good for us. Let's continue to build on that.
Is there one point that maybe you're hitting on right now more than anything else? Is there something that, as you self-evaluate, you're kind of sitting on right now?
Yeah, again, just some of the finer details, the timing, the rhythm. Just keeping that as we move into next week and really start game planning specifically for an opponent.
Is there any more pressure to being the number one seed or no?
No, I don't think we look at it that way. We just again, we're focused on ourselves right now, and then once we know who we're playing, then you just prepare for it like it's any other game. I mean, if you approach every game during the season like it's the most important game of the season, then is this game any different? Not for me.
What did you think of Sam Ellinger and his plan and the
Yeah, it was awesome. He played great last night. He's a stud, man. He's a tough guy. His team played great. Obviously, they were ready to play. Had a good game plan. It was fun watching their offense. Obviously they ask him to do a lot. He's a grinder. What do you have, like 21 carries for 70 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's running like QB power. Just 3 yards in a cloud of dust, man. It was fun to watch. He was rocking the Westlake Westlake Chaparral's jersey walking in the stadium. I thought that was cool. Said he was trying to get some of that mojo.
Did you know such a thing existed?
What's that he was doing that?
Your old high school jersey?
No, I didn't. I don't know. Did he have to get that specially made, or just put a call into the AD or the head coach, and borrow it? I don't know. But it was cool because somebody sent me the picture, and then I put it up on social media and shot him a text. He shot me a text this morning. I was putting my boys to bed last night, but I got a chance to watch most of the second half, and it was fun to watch him.
What did you tell him in the text, and what did you say?
Man, just congratulations. Man, he played big. His team played great, but he was obviously the leader and the catalyst, for the team and the offense, and just happy for his success. Man, he's a great kid, and yeah, I feel like I've seen him grow up a little bit, just knowing him ever since middle school, high school, and just some of his goals and aspirations. I think he's always envisioned himself being in that position, playing for the University of Texas, the hometown team, and, leading him at quarterback. And he's done a phenomenal job of that in his first 2 years. Still young, which his future is very bright.
That's Drew Brees, man, having an opinion on the veritable amount of topics. Heading to the break, y'all, and when we come back, we're going to finish our Saints discussion. But injury report as it currently stands, everybody's good to go. Teron Armstead, he'll be able to make it. Maybe Bushrock's not. We're not certain on that. Of course, the injury report will come out about 2 or 3 days later when we do another show on this here deal. Ginn Jr. is another dude that's raring to go. You'll hear him from on the other side of the break as well. We'll finish up our topics and discussions on the Saints and other topics. We got the interviews and stuff coming up, and the Sports Coma question of the day, which is, do you have any concerns about anything moving ahead with the Saints going into a potential playoff matchup with either the Cowboys and Eagles? Comment, or just simply tune and we'll open the lines on the second segment. We'll be back.
Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? It's Big Q talking at you from the PRO Media Network, letting you know that we're attempting to make things a lot simpler on our listeners and viewers of our mini podcast. So as a result, we're leasing down a lot of our shows to have their own channels for your convenience. Starting soon, shows like Ring King Box, LSU's Tough Tiger Talk, the Pelican Postgame Report will all have their own individual YouTube channels. So thank you for working with us during this process. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your donations and support for our platform as we continue to improve moving forward. Peace.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that?
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000. Celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We are getting ready for this upcoming matchup with the Saints news and notes. Wild card weekend edition. Not much to talk about because the Saints not a wild card. They got a first round bye. So, hey man, listen, it's gonna be terrific, man. We're going ahead looking at a lot of the things happening with this team, man, and they're veritably in a good place in terms of mentality. Despite the fact they had that ridiculous garbage time loss that they had to the Carolina Panthers to close out the season when they were basically sleepwalking on the field. That is the focus is now going to turn to playoff football, in which I'm told they're going to be ready. You already know my take on the going to be ready thing. I just think that you're supposed to be ready at all times because you never know what might be coming at you. But there's different frames and schools of thoughts that deal with that sort of thing. But the Saints they're not going to take this lightly. Whoever they play, they're not afraid of them. I said last year in the last year version when the Eagles, we would have definitely beat the Eagles when we would have faced them. If we went up to Philadelphia, we would have beaten the Eagles. Minnesota basically won on a Hail Mary play, and that's basically it. It took everything in their power to win that game, and a little luck, good fortune toward the end of the game ultimately, which happened. Now, I don't want to recap those horrible thoughts from the previous playoff season. Of course, we know how that turned out. That is the reason why I think it won't turn out that way this year. It's the fact that this team is confident, they're strong, they're focused, and they know and remember what happened, and they played all season long to get to this point to correct the mistakes of the year past. So we have a lot of veterans back. One of them is healthy that just came back to help out in a big win to help the Saints lock up the first round bye. Was Ginn Jr. He came in and had about 5 catches to help the team out, help balance the wide receiver core. And Ginn has been a positive influence in the locker room as well. Well, he is ready for the playoffs as well. And let's hear what Ginn has to say about that as well. Here he is.
Physically and just how anxious are you for it?
Well, physically I'm fine. I'm back to normal. But it's the next one. So we're just getting ready to, go for the goal that we was trying to go from the jump, and that was to win the Super Bowl. We kind of got the first half of it out the way. We got possibly one game at a time, but we can have 3. But right now it's just one game ahead of us. The faces opponent right now until we figure out who we got.
Are you glad to have the one game back for you to get back into the flow of things?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it was kind of like a playoff game, pretty high atmosphere. To come back and, get back in the swings of things, was great. And we kind of knew what we was trying to do, as far as the team, win the seed so we can be able to have the next 2 weeks like we got it.
How would you describe the confidence level in here? How high is the confidence level right now?
Oh, it's very high. Why wouldn't it? When you're in this deal, man, confidence is half of the battle. When you got a locker room as confident as ours, on both sides, offense, defense, and special teams, like is just eager to just go out and practice and play.
Tim, is it hard or easy not knowing who the next opponent will be?
How? I say it's an in between, because for an older guy like me, I understand, but for a younger guy like Traquan, he might not, understand like, what we're doing here, why are we here these many hours, or why are we doing this, why are we doing that, But as far as the confidence level, we here, we ready to go.
Ginn Jr. said we here and we ready to go. As far as the confidence level, the veteran understands what it is. He's been in these situations multiple times, and he'll help mentor guys like Traquan Smith into what needs to be done during this period of time. That's the great thing about having core veterans like Ginn Jr., Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, and the rest of those guys. They know what it takes because they've been in high-pressure situations to kind of coach the younger guys to come along as well. So it's really interesting, man, to see those guys really coming together. Real peculiar year this is, almost shaping up similar to the 2009 year. Have a lot of comparisons between the two. Really, really weird, man. It's almost setting up. Remember the Indianapolis Colts? We played them in the Super Bowl that year. The Colts made the the playoffs. Then they beat the Texans yesterday 21-7. Could we be facing that team? Could we really? Of course, that's a big task to ask for the Colts. If it all lines up the same way we face them in the Super Bowl, because they have to go through the Chargers, they have to go through the Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe that's a little bit too much to ask for Andrew Luck, perhaps. But I don't know. That might not be the same as what it was in 2009. Might be the only difference. But outside of that, we got a couple of more interviews we're going to play for you. Of course, we have Marshawn Lattimore coming up next. And, of course, the good thing about the Saints is what I'm saying is this is a veritable young veteran club that are hungry. You can't deny the hunger and I ain't going to say hunger, maybe starvation of the team to get back to the big dance and represent and show what time it is. Of course, Drew Brees is another guy that knows that his timer is ticking. And even though he was on the record of saying, you know what, man, regardless of whatever, I'm not going to retire this year. So, I don't know, Drew. But Drew's calling the shots here, man. He's in control here. And he wants to play for Super Bowls, maybe get 2 more before he slinks out of here and leaves it up to either Taysom Hill or Bridgewater or whomever they get. But here's Marshawn Lattimore on his thoughts coming up.
Marshawn, having done this already last year, playoffs, is there a different feeling for you, or were you as calm this year as last year?
Yeah, I was definitely calm. This year, we're in number 1, so we get the first week bye. It's kind of different, but it's still the same thing as far as the preparation and things like that. So I'm still calm, though, still being who I am.
What has this week been like for you guys to be, I guess, doing more Saints on Saints or more fundamentals rather than getting ready for an opponent?
It really gives us a little rest, really, because it's Saints on Saints, but it's not full speed for, everything, so it gives us some rest.
Are you anxious to find out who you guys are going to be playing? Are you guys, sometimes you get into a rhythm where you don't really want to stop.
Nah, man. We're going to take this, this little weekend off and just relax. And whoever we got, that's who we got, And that's all we waiting on. But, for me, I'm calm. I'm chilling.
What are your thoughts on the way the defense, I guess, finished out the regular season? You guys seem to get it together in the secondary. You seem to get it together up front, and you seem to be working in as a complete unit.
That was a plan from the beginning. I was telling y'all, every week we're trying to get better. As I keep saying, and that's what we did. Some weeks we fell off a little bit, but at the end of the day, we got better as a whole. And so that's all we was working on all season, just keep climbing. We had to climb out of a hole from the first game. And, I think we did that, and we responded well. So.
That's Marshawn Lattimore. They had to climb out a hole, and they climbed, and they responded well. And they, to be honest with you, remember how the season started. They started off with the loss. I went back and I listened to the game that we covered, that game, week 1 game against Tampa Bay. that we covered, and it was just a disappointment. Then the Saints reared off a bunch of wins. And it's real interesting to see from point to point when you go back and listen to some of those contests where the defense was, being that, you covered it. In each discussion, going back, listen to some of those old recordings, showed me the Saints' progression. Obviously, Saints even went middle of the season trade for a starting level cornerback to fix the secondary right away. They didn't say, well, we'll get it in the offseason. No, they went out and did a pretty good job. They actually tried to get the guy Peterson from Arizona. Remember that? Then the owner said, no, we're not going to let him go. They didn't like what they received in terms of trade value for Peterson. Ultimately, the Saints said, you know what? They want a first and whatever it was, a second or 2 firsts for Peterson. And it didn't work out. So the Saints turned and made a very good, solid deal to pick up at a way cheaper draft capital as CERN, giving up a lower pick to get a quality player. You can't argue that what they gave up to get a guy like Eli Apple in the trade that they give up wasn't to the Saints' advantage. That definitely was toward the Saints' advantage. Now, since he's been here, he's kind of getting along. He's coming along. But Eli Apple's going to be really counted on coming up because against the playoffs, whoever they play, whether it's Dallas or it's Philly, they have very serious wide receivers on either side of the ball, and he's going to be counted on. Now, against Carolina, you already know my thinking on that. I already talked about that ad nauseum about how the fact that he just didn't look right in the game. And, you entitled to one of a bad game every now and again. He had a few, but you can't deny his progress. A lot of people say, oh, Eli Apple's junk and all this kind of stuff. I don't agree with that. You want to know who junk is? Craig Crawley's junk. P.J. Williams is borderline junk. And I only say that about those players because if they would do a better job of locating the ball, like doing what you're supposed to do, looking at the wide receiver, if the wide receiver turn and you turn, if that guy would do that, he'd have 4 or 5 interceptions on the year. Because the last one against Carolina, the guy threw it into his back. If he just would have turned around, he'd have picked the ball off. But that's some of the simple stuff. You can't tell me Aaron Glenn not telling that dude to whip his head around and locate the ball. You're not telling me that Aaron Glenn is telling him, oh, you're going to defense the ball with your back. Just jump up and bat the ball down with your back. No, the man's not teaching that. He's teaching him to turn around, locate the ball for possible interceptions and turnovers. That's what he's teaching him. Now, regardless of the situation, I don't think he's going to be on the team anyway going ahead because they're going to find other talent to kind of put together on that secondary. But it's turned in far as today, my people, Sports Coma question of the day, are there any concerns with your New Orleans Saints going ahead in these playoffs? I mentioned Eli Apple because that's what a lot of people are telling me in the comment section or mentioning about Eli Apple. That's what they're telling me. Now let's listen to Marcus Davenport. Here's the young man as he's talking about his first playoff game, man, in his rookie year. You can't get no sweeter than that, right, people? Marcus Davenport, here you go.
Marcus, even though this is your first playoff game, do you have a sense of, I guess, how important playoff games are, or is this kind of like approaching a regular season game for you?
Since this is my first, I'm just trying to learn from the older guys who've been here before, and I'm just trying to take it with the same intensity, maybe even upped it a little bit, trying to, reset and focus.
Yeah. Have they given you any specific tidbits, or are you just kind of feeling your way out?
I guess the biggest point has been the better you practice, the better you play. So that's really where we're at, just getting back to the basics, fundamentals, and, working on it.
As you're working on your fundamentals this week, and I know you guys are kind of self-introspection this week, what are some of the things you're looking at from yourself?
Consistency on my pad level and then driving the blockers, just little things.
That's Marcus Davenport chiming in on what he needs to do to get better in this here thing. And trust me, that guy is going to be fine, man. That guy is going to be terrific. He just needs time to develop. His first year, he missed some time, but it's not going to stop his development moving forward. I think he'll be fine. They using him in a complementary role while giving all of the reps to a veteran pass rusher like Alex Okafor, who's had a solid season. Then, of course, they do have guys like Trey Hendrickson that might get a little burned. So the defensive line, remember, the front seven of the Saints have been solid all year long, except for that Tampa Bay game in that, well, I ain't gonna say the Tampa Bay game because they kind of was getting it together that game, and maybe the first 2 or 3 games until they became really solid and really started stuffing teams. That and that wretched Carolina game at the end of the season. But without that being said, all of those other games, the Saints front seven have been dominant. They've been dominant. They've held teams to the lowest amount of 71 yards rushing on the year. You know, that's you can't get any better than that. Than the last 11 games of the season, the Saints defense total, whether it's secondary or whatever, was in the top 10. You know, top 15, top 10 in that category. So a lot of this defensive statistics, if you're looking at it from a standpoint of just looking at the numbers will lie to you. Hopefully our opposition are just looking at the numbers and saying we could do this, that, and the third. We'll see. We'll see, because this is the time where they've played all the way up to this point, and it's time to get it going now. Now, Sports Coma question today is, do you have any concerns, or are there any concerns that you might have with the Saints going into the playoffs? Like I said, I mentioned Eli Apple. Somebody mentioned P.J. Williams. Are there any concerns out there? Wide receiver wise, well, Ted Ginn comes in and removes that. Tight end concerns. We just read up a contract, a big deal, which is something I was supposed to talk about, how I allowed that to slip through the cracks with tight end Hill. What do you guys think about that maneuver? The Saints paid up his contract. So I don't, you know what? That wasn't a bad deal. I would have to say, give the Saints credit for bringing Hill back, because looking at the footage, when you see what Josh Hill was doing, they gave him a 3-year contract worth $85 million? Yeah, 8.85 with a $3 million signing bonus. So what the Saints basically did was, they know Ben Watson already said, I'm retiring, I'm done. I done did all I could do. I got a Super Bowl ring with, this, that, and the third. I done accomplished a lot, and I can go head on. I just had some babies, and now I want to live and be happy. Big ups to Ben on that. And the Dan Arnold is basically he's a rookie, undrafted guy, still feeling his way around. Josh Hill, really, it was supposed to be the heir apparent. The first time Ben Watson was here, when he left, the Saints headed the reins over to Josh Hill, and he dropped them. So this time around, they gave him a very inexpensive deal, and he will be the face, I guess, part of it moving ahead when they do it by committee until they find more of an established guy. I don't know if that's Dan Arnold or not. We'll see. I like what I've seen out of him, but I don't know if you can kind of count on him in that capacity. But Hill is solid. He does catch the ball when he catches the ball, and he is developed into a excellent blocker. I mean, I put the tape on, and Hill is making blocks upfield and all. I mean, he turned into a hell of a blocker, and I've shouted him out on various shows about his blocking ability, and I think the Saints did pretty well in bringing this guy back here for a cheap deal to kind of keep Dan Arnold, and perhaps they can add another tight end Drew free agency or the draft moving ahead to kind of complement Drew on a higher level, because they could definitely use another tight end. Sports Coma question today: do you have any concerns with the Saints going into the playoffs? That's our Sports Coma question today. Feel free to answer the comment section. And now we're going to open up the phone lines. Y'all can feel free to chime in for questions or comments to talk to myself. I love to hear from you. The live line, 504-475-4482. That's 504-475-4482. The lines are now open. They're open, fam. So y'all can call in and speak with me, have questions, comments, concerns, whatever. Call in, holler at your boy. Now, going into the rest of the show, this is the funny thing I like about the Saints right here. You got Sean Payton. Sean Payton has done it right this entire season. This team, you don't really needed too much motivation to put on this team, because this is a veteran team. They know what's at stake. And a lot of the young guys that's coming on, they adapting that veteran mentality too. And this entire season for the Saints, you got to say, the Saints schedule this year was probably one of the top 5 hardest schedules, if not the top 3 in the NFL. The Saints did nothing but bat down perennial playoff teams over and over again, and smacked them down to the point where they wasn't playoff teams no more. Eliminated 3 teams, several teams in this round. Eliminated Atlanta, eliminated Carolina, eliminated Pittsburgh. We just team after team eliminated them. And revenge games. few stumbled up against Tampa Bay. Understandable, because the preseason, we just looking for people to add. We don't want to get nobody hurt. So the Saints kind of used the first 3 games of the season as a regular, like a preseason, until everybody gets going in the season. But beating and knocking off teams, beating Baltimore, beating Minnesota, beating Los Angeles, which was a big game. Not only beating them, but beating them 45-35. Destroying Cincinnati 51-14. Destroying the Philadelphia Eagles 48-7. Then beating Atlanta again, eliminating them, stumbling up by 3 to the wretched Dallas Cowboys, knocking off Tampa, then having a close one with Carolina, that 12-9. Thought we could have did better than that, but that playoff style atmosphere game against Pittsburgh. That's probably my favorite game of the year was that Pittsburgh game. Y'all probably have better favorite games, but I'm going to say that Pittsburgh game to me is probably the best game of the regular season in terms of everything. I mean, those both teams playing for everything, and the Saints eliminated them. Not AB is not talking to Roethlisberger. I mean, we did that. Be happy, fam. We did that. The Saints did that. But anyway, we're going to open up the phone lines, 504-475-4482. That's 504-475-4482. 504-475-4482. One more time, 504-475-4482. Somebody put that in the comment section so everybody can remember that and know that that's the same number we have. We open it up when we do the show. So let's get into the previous questions of the day comments that we asked the people. And we asked them 2 questions. That's the first time we did that since we started doing the Sports Coma question of the day, which is, who will the Saints face in the divisional matchup? And also the second was, did Teddy Bridgewater show you enough to be the QB of the future for the Saints? That's the 2 questions we asked. Josh London chimed in. What's up, Josh? I ain't hear from him in a while. Good to hear from you, Josh. He says, I believe they'll play Seattle in the divisional round. Didn't work out that way, my friend, but I don't understand how the scheduling works. So the Saints, who earned the best record in football, will play on Sunday afternoon, the 12th, where the NFC number 2 seed Rams get Saturday night, giving them an extra day's rest and prep. That's true. If they meet the Saints in the NFC Championship, which that extra day of rest is huge at this point in the season. As for Bridgewater, I don't think this game was a great measuring stick for the future. If anything, hopefully it means that New Orleans can get him at a better value compared to the market. At least he didn't put up a Matt Flynn game from years back, forcing someone else to drastically overpay him. I like Bridgewater as a player, and I think that he is a great study, learning from one of the best in Brees, and could provide a good, bright spot moving forward. Thank you, Josh. Once again, Josh always delivers great commentary. Appreciate you, buddy, for chiming in. And you're absolutely right on that. Of course, Seattle could have beat Dallas, but that ridiculous whatever that was at the end of the game where Janikowski was hurt and the guy Pooch punts the ball to him and gives the game to him. They do all that stuff. Russell gets him a touchdown and they're within 2, and they set an onside kick and he does this stupid drop punt deal. I mean, what the hell was that about? You know what I'm saying? What the hell was that? What was that? And why aren't punters doing what the kicker do? Meaning, if you know that if the kicker gets hurt like Sebastian Janikowski got hurt, shouldn't the punter be a backup kicker? Shouldn't he be the guy that knows how to do extra points? Why is he not knowing at least that? Perhaps maybe because it'll come a time, and I keep telling you this, where they eliminate one of the 2, maybe the punter or the kicker, and have one guy doing both of them. And then they have a backup guy, or whomever. But I'm telling you that's coming. You'll have a kicker and a punter dude that do both. I'm telling you it's coming, because I remember Baltimore was not Baltimore, but another team I forgot in the NFL was used in the preseason, using one guy to do both and opening up that extra roster spot for somebody else, maybe another cornerback, defensive back, wide receiver, whatever, and just have that guy for that specific reason, have one guy to do 2 things. But I didn't like that at all. I thought that was stupid. Ultimately, it cost them. They had an opportunity to get the ball back. If they got it back on the onside kick, they had enough time to kind of kick a field goal and take the game from Dallas. But in essence, I wanted Dallas anyway. I don't know how this Philly game's going to turn out. Perhaps we'll know this afternoon at 3:00. But hey, I'm satisfied with the Dallas game. Appreciate the comment, Josh. Going to the next question. Tim Russ chiming in. Timothy Russ. What's going on, Tim? He says, it wouldn't matter who we play until our offensive line gets healthy and our defensive play with heart. Any team can't beat us. This particular game, everything should be blamed on Sean. The results are indicators of how they prepared for this game. Also, keep in mind, Sean and Saints have been taunting Cam Newton and the Panthers with a wine and broomstick. You think that wasn't turned up for this? From now on, we have to prepare for the Panthers like it's a playoff game. They'll never forget the trash talking. As for Bridgewater, we got to be patient with him. He's trying to build a relationship with his teammates while Drew is at the helm. I feel he can be the replacement the Saints been looking for as long as he work as hard as Drew. It's going to be hard for any new quarterback to fill Drew's shoes. But what I've seen that he have an edge over Drew is the ability to scramble better than Drew and have a stronger arm. We'll be all right. Currently, I feel we have 3 good running backs. When Drew leaves, we should be more run-orientated offense, run more read option plays. Who that? Who that to you, Tim? Appreciate the comment, my man, as well. And once again, that's absolutely excellent commentary. You damn right. The games already were ratcheted up against Carolina Panthers, and they're going to continue to be playoff-style games with Carolina because that rivalry between the Saints and Carolina is really starting to get really, really thick. Now, we got a deep hatred for Atlanta. That took a long time to cultivate that. But let me tell you something. The second rivalry that I believe, maybe you feel a little different, you let me know, that the Saints have is with the Dallas Cowboys. That's the only other, and that's going west. Going east is Atlanta. Going west is Dallas. And those are 2 really healthy rivalries of football hatred and respect when we play Atlanta and when we play Dallas. The third team is going to be, this Carolina's definitely ratcheting up that with this broom and this wine and all this kind of old stuff. Drew Brees, Cam Newton, when he gets healthy, they're going to galvanize behind that because we've been kicking these team butts for the last couple of years. Now, they stuck in with a garbage time win, but they're not going to really count that game because nobody, most of their players were sitting down and the Saints basically donated that game to them, so to speak. So I'm thinking that's definitely going to be ratcheted up. So I agree with you. Now, as far as the Bridgewater concern, you're right. It's tough. Like Josh said, it's a tough measuring stick from us. I've seen a lot of stuff I like from him, a lot of stuff I didn't like from Teddy Bridgewater. But I know who Teddy Bridgewater is because I've seen more of a sample size serving of him with Minnesota and when he was at Louisville. I know who this guy is, and I know sooner or later when he get comfortable what he going to give you. And you're right. We have to rely more on the run, and we're going to re-sign Mark Ingram. We're going, and of course we got Alvin Kamara and Dwayne Washington. Let's not sleep on him. He's a really good back. He got a century mark against Carolina last week. He's a terrific back. He's a heavy back, about 6'1"ish, about 230 pounds. Good complimentary back to what they're doing. So, man, I do like the idea of them being more running orientated once Drew leaves out of here. Thank you, Tim, for that comment, by the way. Double Negatives chimes in. Double Negative says, what's going on, friend? He says, I think it was health over everything in that game. I figured out quickly that the team was just going through the motions and not really going 100%. Look at the tape. You'll see they were half stepping through the whole game. The play calling was phoned in as well. When they were down, the play calling didn't change at all. When they were down, I see what you're saying. Just because you have starters in the game doesn't mean that they were here to play. They didn't have a choice to be in the game because you only have so many players you can sit. I wish they would have taken the game seriously, but when everyone else tells you it doesn't matter, then that's how you play. That's a good comment there, Double Negatives. I appreciate the comment, my man. Thank you so much. And you're right. That's a shame, though. You see what I'm saying? If you think about what you just said, that's a shame on the back end of that comment, that if everybody else telling you this and that's how you play. No, if you're a paid professional and some of those guys get paid a good, healthy sum of money to play a child's game, then you should go full speed. Alex Anzalone and all those guys like that, they only have one play. Cam Jordan, they only have one way they play, and when it's time, I'm going to turn it on. I don't care if it's preseason or not. I'm going to play like I mean it. I'm not going to come out here and give a half-ass performance in front of all these fans at home. We still got to defend the dome, whether it's preseason or regular season or a game that don't count because we locked up everything. I agree with you on that. So thank you, Double Negatives. Live call-in number is 504-475-4482. That's right, 504-475-4482. Remember, listen, fam, every Sunday at 10 o'clock, we are live here on this channel on Spreaker. So feel free. You hit the link You join up with Spreaker, subscribe to the Sports Coma on YouTube and Spreaker. And then when we go live, you'll get a notification so that you can chime in and you can speak with the crew live. 504-475-4482 is the call-in number. Next comment, Soldier for God's chiming in. What's up, Soldier? Says, I think Teddy would have been better if he had first-team offense the whole game. I think the time working with the ones and let's read that again. I think Teddy would have been better if he had the first team's offense the whole game. I think with the time working with the ones, he'll be okay. Thank you, Soldier for God. Yeah, a little bit more time for Teddy Bridgewater wouldn't hurt him. It can only help him because he's so intelligent and how he sees things. There was a few plays I seen that I like. That play when he threw in triple coverage, I guess, it's a lot of rust involved that he got to shake off. As he moves forward, but it was kind of a in between a line type of performance. Thank you for the comment, Soldier. Marvin Norman chiming in. What's up, Marvin? He says they played just to the end of the game. Saints really didn't game plan. They played, man, in the basic defense. Offensively, Teddy Bridgewater played in Jordan's tennis shoes, not cleats, but in J's. One thing for sure, every loss this season, we come back and win at least 3 in a row. Now let's get that 3-game winning streak and win the Super Bowl. # who dat. Thank you, Marvin. Appreciate the comment, my friend. And you're absolutely right. I hope it ends up that way as well, which I know it was. Let's rephrase that. I know it's going to end up that way after turning a performance like that, and especially if they get Dallas. They're going to really ratchet up because they got a lot to pay Dallas back for after what they did. Sean C. chimes in. What's up, Sean? He says, Happy New Year's, Big Q. In D.C., it didn't really matter who we get. We got to be ready. If you look at Drew Brees' statistics in 06, Teddy on par with him. So he would be better if he commanded offense from the offseason. It's a bad loss, period. Straight gutter trash. We got time to make the corrections. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate the comment, my friend. You're right. There's plenty of time to make the corrections. They got a week now, and then they have an opportunity, whoever they get, whether it's Philly, because Philly plays Chicago at 3 o'clock today on Sunday, so we'll have an opportunity to see by the end of this day who they're matching up against. It's a tough task to ask Philly to go into Chicago and beat Chicago, but Philly is the Super Bowl champion, so let's not forget that. Nick Foles is going to play, and they're saying that he might be hurt. Let me tell you something. They're going to put whatever painkiller they on that man to make sure he's healthy enough to get them past the Chicago Bears, and he's going to need it because the Bears and Khalil Mack's going to get after him. So regardless of who we get, I agree with you. We're going to be ready. Moving ahead. John Lister chimes in. What's up, John? He says, bring on Dallas. I want revenge. I want vengeance. That's what John says. Teddy is our guy. He played with a dismal O-line and made key throws. Problem was nobody wanted to play. LOL. You're right. It did look like that. And I hate to call into anybody, call anybody's professionalism in that, but you put the tape on. That's what I seen too. You had a few players out there trying to make it. DeMario Davis trying to play, a few other players. But when it come down to it, the bulk of the team wasn't really taking it serious as they were supposed to. That's when pride kicks in, when you have to defend where you are and be stronger and better behind it. So, yeah, I'm agree with you. My stance was when the Dallas game happened, we lost 13-10 to Dallas during that period of time. My call was Dallas. I said, you know what? I want this team again in the playoffs, and I want them to be here in the Dome. So they can't cheat like they did in Jerry's world, like they did against Seattle. Like when, did you see the catch? When Amari Cooper caught the ball, he landed on the ground. The ball rolled on the turf out of his arms, and they still gave the ball to him in Jerry's world. See, that's the type of bull crap I'm talking about. That's the type of garbage that I'm talking about. That ball was not a catch, but they gave it to him. That's what kind of foolishness happened in cheating Jerry's world. But you ain't going to have that down here in the New Orleans Superdome. And hopefully we get that team. I wouldn't be mad if we did get Philadelphia, by the way. But that team now, that Dallas Cowboy team, we're going to get up to play them dudes. And not saying that we ain't going to get up for Philly, but Dallas is a team we got a lot to pay back. We got to pay them back for that one. Anyway, thanks for the comment there, John. Next one, DJ Austin chiming in. What's up, DJ? He says, okay, to inform the fans, I think we shouldn't be putting everything on Teddy. But I do work at the game. I see what I seen. A lot of calls that wasn't called. Defensive backs got killed on wide receivers for penalties. Defensive play bad this game. It's like the defensive play bad when either the backups or the second string or the opposing team. The Teddy thing, I could see him, but I still put T. Hill on second. But the most part, I feel the coaching is the fault falls on the coaching of this game and the refs. Thank you, DJ, for chiming in and let me know that, my man. Hey, yeah, you agree. You're right. You look at the game, a lot of kind of crazy. And I've just been really critical of the referees for large slots of the season because you're not even following your own measuring stick. You can't flag guys, penalize guys, or fine guys, right? Fine them $20,000 like they did Marcus Davenport for a penalty for a play that wasn't even thrown a flag of. What kind of league is this, man? What kind of craptastic league is this where people get fined for plays that a flag wasn't even thrown for? What sense that makes? Don't make any damn sense at all. But that's what kind of garbage time referee play that we got. And I feel good about it because we're going to continue to blast the referees for the trash they do because they're not consistent. They're not consistently calling these plays correctly. Then they have makeup calls. Then I got to go back to this Dallas game against Seattle. They had at least several plays where Dallas were allowed to have pass interference. They had pass interference calls to keep Dallas's drives going in that game. Now, they had the little hook move where KJ Wright did grab hold of the man, but that wasn't enough. They do that kind of stuff all the time. When the Saints play against this Awuzaway guy, whatever his name is, Awuzaway must mean hold you to death and pray that the referees don't call. That's what that must stand for because that's what he did. Mike Thomas all damn game long. He grabbed them and held them and no flag was thrown in his direction. Then when you have a team come in Jerry World and he does the same or similar thing or a lighter thing, then he gets the flags. How they get those flags, those consecutive third down drives? Then ultimately, when they got down the field with that deep throw and Amon Cooper drops the ball, he went to the ground. The ball rolls out of his hands and back into his arms. You can see it on replay and they still give it to him. You know, that kind of junk. And then they make up call the next play by calling a 5-yard out of alignment offensive play against Dallas, 5 yards. You know, that type of trash like that makes me disrespect the referees and just totally disrespect them and just shoot on them all any chance I get because I know they full of you know what. But anyway, thanks for the comment there, DJ. Sean says, I agree with you. Sean S. chimes in again. He says, I agree with you on Tre'Quan Smith. I've noticed the same thing every time he catches the ball. Now, what Sean is referencing is the fact that I said during the previous show that Tre'Quan Smith looks scared and stiff and injured. Every time he catches the ball, he looks like I'm just saying. From a confidence standpoint, maybe that'd be different coming into the playoffs because everybody's got an extra step or two. But as far as I'm concerned, looking at Tre'Quan Smith, he don't look comfortable out there. Every time he catch the ball, look like he's either stiff, look like he's hurting. I don't know. But it just like the moment is bigger than Tre'Quan Smith right now. And I'm going to tell you, his counterpart, which is Keith Kirkwood, it don't look like that. Keith Kirkwood looks comfortable out there. Keith Kirkwood looks like he's comfortable out there. He looks comfortable. Tre'Quan Smith does not. He looks stiff and injured to me. I just what I see. But anyway, thanks for the comment, Sean S. Appreciate you, brother. And then, of course, 9 o'clock props. That's old school, man. 9 o'clock props. He said, love the show, fam. I agree with you. I was pissed with our effort, but trust me, we will not come out flat at home in the Dome. The energy will be electric. Also, I hope Dallas wins because I live here now after Katrina, and they feeling themselves way too much. First of all, 9 o'clock props. Appreciate the comment, my man. I feel sorry I'm sorry. I have to apologize that you're in Dallas in terms of having to deal with all those wretched Dallas Cowboys fans because you wearing your Saints gear, you wearing your Saints hat, and you're outnumbered a little bit. Now, we got a lot of Houdat's out there in Dallas country, but I'm feeling you on that. But trust me, listen. When this game come around and we shut them down, because something telling me we're going to get Dallas in that first matchup. When we shut Dallas down, I want you to come out with your flags. I want you to come out with your hats. I want you to come out with your shirts. I want you to come out with everything black and gold and let them know that Dallas it's not silver and blue no more. It's black and gold time, baby. It's black and gold time. So anyway, thanks for the comment there, 9 o'clock plops. Appreciate you for joining the full, man. We appreciate you for listening and all the great Sports Coma family and Black and Gold Nation out there. We like to thank y'all guys for chiming in and listening to the show today. Of course, my hand out the number one more time before we get up out of here. 504-475-4482. Somebody put that in the comment section. Let the fam know that is the number to contact. We turn it on in the second segment. Our live shows are every Sunday on Spreaker at 10. All you have to do to be a part of it is to sign up for Spreaker. Just hit the link and sign up. Follow Spreaker, and of course follow us, Sports Coma at Spreaker, and a notification will be sent to you to join the show. Also, we have our team posts the notification link via YouTube's, Facebook, Instagram is posted so that you can join the show as well. So you can join in and call in. So as always, we'll be back later on today to recap. We may give you a little mini recap of an upcoming matchup. We'll know this afternoon of who the Saints will have a chance to play. So thank y'all for joining us here on Sports Coma episode 300. Now, once again, before we get out of here, I just want to say that the Saints this year's playoff time is going to be interesting. And I can't wait, man. It's going to be a real positive affair going on in the Dome. Dome going to be rocking. You thought that Pittsburgh game was something. You ain't seen nothing yet, baby. But anyway, before we even get to that, let's see who we got. Is it Dallas? Will Philly pull Okadoke over Chicago? Anything possible in the NFL. So we'll know by the end of the day. So when we come back, we'll come back and recap. We'll recap what happened for this day's action as we get ready for the upcoming matchup. We'll know by the end of the day. So y'all can join us then as well. Remember, 504-475-4482 is the number you can call in when we come back about maybe 30 minutes to an hour after the game today. So join Spreaker so you can get the notification. So also join all our social media family. If you want to be a donator of the show or contributor, go to www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network to sign up, like Sean Sims, peace to him, and other great contributors as well. And also, if you want to help the show, you can check the link in the description section below and purchase products from our great sponsors that help the show strong. So from us here at the Sports Coma, thank you for joining us for show 300. We'll see you later in the afternoon. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. T-Box temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture. And like with T-Box, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out tbox.com. That's right, tbox.com. Check the link in the description section below. NewFrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fastly becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. NewFrog.com has up to 70% off on some products, and you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog. NewFrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Vapor DNA is the absolute premier online vape store, offering an industry-leading selection of e-cigarettes, e-liquids, and accessories. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service team is always ready to provide the best customer service experience to ensure you find what you're looking for. We guarantee our vaping gear shop products to be 100% genuine and the lowest price. We are so confident in our selection and our customer service. We will offer our customers a 45-day refund policy. That's right, a 45-day refund policy. We are proud of this offer for 3 simple reasons: quality, selection, and price. And that is the reason you should choose Vapor DNA for all your vaping needs. That's www.vapordna.com. Again, that's www.vapordna.com.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
What's up, Sports World? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share, and help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.